Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Coach Lee, and we're working on speech anxiety in all its gross forms. And we are talking with IBROSS. Say howdy, IBROSS.
Howdy.
And IBROSS is from London, and he does network engineering. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good to me. Um, he originally wrote me that in an email that he was, quote, the worst stutter you'll ever hear, unquote. And by golly, when I heard him, he wasn't far from it. He was working hard to be the worst stutterer that I'd ever heard. And I heard some bad stutterers, let me tell you. Anyway, he started stuttering at age 5. He said in his questionnaire forms that it was in 90% of his conversation, 80% of it were blocks, a few repeats and grimaces. I noticed that he rolled his head a lot, looked up at the ceiling, and all that's typical for many stutterers. He had therapy from ages 7 to 10, which, quote, did no good, unquote. He joined WSSA. He read my short course book. He read How to Stop Stuttering and Love Speaking. And he said that within 2 weeks after reading him, he, quote, had experienced a large improvement, unquote. Around early March, we started coaching, and I started talking, I should say. And he began in his early sessions, which are memorialized in videos, that he was stirring up a storm. And so we drilled short, link, and stop, and we drilled some of the crutches. And I thought it was a wonderful coaching session because he made so much progress right there. Now, I knew it wouldn't last. It takes time to make it stick. But what he proved to himself in that very first session is, hey, if I can do it on Monday at 10 o'clock, why can't I do it Tuesday at 3? You know what I mean? It makes no sense that you could do it with me in that session and that you could, and that's the only place you could do it. That your capabilities, it's like you're a great tennis player. You can only play on a course in London when the sunlight is so and so. It's nonsense. And so you proved a lot to yourself in that session. So we continued, and we've talked several times. I don't know how many, doesn't matter. 3, 4, 5, I don't know. And he began with blocking, and we drilled the speech plans and so forth. And he told me in June that he felt 70% improvement from the very beginning, and but it hadn't been quite as good in the last 2 weeks. And of course, the thing about it is, if he has to be on duty in effect at all times, he's got to be thinking as if he's under pressure at that moment, no matter what he feels. He has to assume this pressure, and he's staying in character, if you will. And by that I mean he's using his speech plan, and if needed, a crutch here or there. But the better you get at the speech plan, soon you really don't need anything. Crutch 4, 5, crutch 8, you hum a little bit and hold your tone, you're done. What was it that one of my students put it this week? He continued to, oh shit. I'm going to have to look this up, what this guy said. Hold on just a minute. I am going to look it up because it was such a good expression that I would like you to know what it is. And I can get it pretty fast. This is a guy who is just started with us very recently. And he's a medical student at Stanford. So he's a smart dude, and He said, and he's made huge progress from reading the book. He's almost got it whipped from reading the book. And he was saying that he does linking. He characterized it as maintaining a constant pitch. And I loved that expression. And I would commend it to you. When you think about linking, think about it as maintaining a constant pitch. When I'm maintaining a constant pitch throughout my words, I cannot stutter. Why? I never hesitate. I never think a word. I don't have time. I'm holding my pitch. I'm maintaining my pitch through my words. So I never hesitate. I never think a word. I never fear a word. I never force a word. Therefore, I never stutter. First word, separate subject. We have other ways of treating it. Once I've said the first word, I'm in good shape. Evermore. When you get good enough at short link stop, you won't even need to think over the top speech. Though for now, you need to, because you cannot afford to allow yourself to go off this cliff and hit the rocks. That's what we can't allow you to do. You can't allow yourself to do. So, having said all that, now tell me, since the last time we talked, I guess it's been a couple of weeks, well, let me ask you, the last time I asked you this question, when did you have your last bad incident? I mean, appearing clearly speech disabled, not making a mistake, not saying I left my book in the car and that created some problems and I even forced a word or two. That's not a speech disability. That's not what we're talking about here. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about when you feel sick to your stomach, that you were so embarrassed and so humiliated by the way you talk. That's a bad incident, and that's what we're not going to do. And that's what you've not been doing, as far as I know. So, Katie, the last time I asked you this question was on July 4th, and you said, my last bad incident was a couple of months ago. Is that still true?
It is true. I've had really good moments. However, yesterday I was out with my friends, and is not really a bad incident. For my speech was very choppy because I was speaking too fast. I was speaking very fast.
Okay, now, how do you prevent choppy speech? What do you do?
I have to think speaking in short increments.
You do.
1001, 1002.
That is correct. And you also need to think linking, or as we were just talking about, maintaining a constant pitch. If that's clear to you, if it's not clear to you, don't think it. Think something else. You know, we want you to. It's clear to this Stanford guy. That's the way he likes to think about it. But thinking a constant pitch. I'm doing it right now, and I want you to do it right now in our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Maintain a constant pitch through every word that you say to me. It's another way to say link. Humming through words is another way to say link. Maintaining a constant pitch. I'm pulling my air from my abdomen down here. I'm not trying to, I can't maintain a pitch without pulling air from there. It's like singing. It's the reason why stutterers don't stutter when they sing. That's because they're maintaining a pitch. So, choppy speech is the classic residue for severe stutterers. Do you have to do it? No. But how can you prevent it? Short increments, maintaining your pitch to every word that you say, and increasing the length of your stops a little bit. When this slows your speech, medically speaking, the slower your speech, the lower your blood pressure. Did you know that? Absolutely, your blood pressure goes down. Speaking makes everybody's blood pressure go up, whether they stutter or they don't. It's not a bad thing, but it just happens. And the faster you talk, the more your blood pressure goes up. And stutterers, it shows up in stuttering. Somebody else, they blink. Somebody else, they take deep breaths. Somebody else, they spit. Who the hell knows what they do? Everybody has a different way of doing it. Okay, so you're going to do it now. We're gonna work on choppy speech right now.
Mhm.
So, tell me about. Tell me anything that you can about. Was that the only incident, or have you had a little bit of choppy speech here and there, kind of coming and going since we talked?
I'd say here and there. However, in a general sense, it's been really good. I I had a practice session an hour ago, and I host for that, and that went really well. And in that meeting, I practiced speaking in short increments.
Good. And that's what I want you to continue doing now, because we need to, the over-the-top stuff will still work. And it's more dramatic. It's harder to do, as you know. You got to really invest yourself into it to do it.
Mhm.
And what does that do? It fills your mind with something other than stuttering, and it just sort of blocks the stuttering. That's all it's doing. So the more effort you put into that, the more you block it. What we're trying to do here is figure out something that there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great solution, and you should do it when you need it. But if you can perfect short increments linking to a longer stop, you don't even need to be over the top. You can be very, and I've told you before too that the softer you speak, the less problem it is. Whether you do if that's the only thing you do, the lower volume takes the heat off you. It's almost, or lowers it a lot. It's almost like you're not talking. Talk to me now in a soft voice and tell me about your week.
Here is me.
No,
Speak.
you're talking in a regular voice. I want to hear a soft voice.
Here is me speaking in a soft voice, and I
Okay.
find it very easy to do.
Soft?
And I find it very easy to do.
Now, you got to get closer to a whisper. It's not soft enough. It needs to be right. It's got to be breathy, like you're whispering. Can you whisper?
Yes, yes.
All right, well, whisper a while. Let's whisper a while. Go ahead.
Here is me speaking while I whisper. And I've had a really, really good week with my speech.
Good.
I've been taking part in SAM calls and asking questions. And I have been joining the practice sessions daily.
Great, great. That's really good. Do you realize how effortless whispering is for you? Do you realize that? Ah, he's frozen. Ah, bummer. Technology drives me insane. There you go. Do you realize how effortless your speech is when you whisper?
Yes, very easy.
If you whispered, if you'd had a cancer in your throat or something and they'd operated on it, you might be forced to whisper for the rest of your life. It would not keep you from doing anything that you do. Nothing. You realize that?
Yes.
You could whisper right now for the rest of your life and feel no pressure and talk as fluently as anybody alive. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
It's another way out, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, I want you to put just a little bit of voice with the whisper, just a little bit, and tell me how that, tell me, I don't know, tell me anything about your week that you want to tell me.
So during my week,
You tend to come with a regular voice. I want to try to get you to find your soft voice, which is halfway between the whisper.
I think it's my microphone.
Maybe. Okay. Well, whispering does work, but you are one of those people that what I'm hearing is no soft voice. Here's my whisper. This is my whisper. And this is my soft voice. This is my whisper. Say that. This is my whisper.
This is my whisper.
And this is my soft voice.
And this is my soft voice.
That's better. That's getting close. The closer you can stay to the whisper, the easier it will be to speak. Okay. So, whispering soft voice is an alternative that works.
I've also read in your book that I should implement increments and speaking slowly.
Okay. Okay. All right. How does that work?
That has helped me a lot. 1001, 1002, and slowing the pace.
Okay, well, let's switch from whispering soft voice to short, slow. Demonstrate that for me.
So this is me speaking in a short, slow way, and I'm also speaking in short increments, and I can feel within myself the slower I speak, the less I struggle, and the more fluent I feel.
You sound totally fluent. You sound like you never had a problem with your speech. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
No one would know it. If you were talking to a stranger down the street, the way you just talk, they would never in this world know. that you ever had a problem with saying one word in your life. It'd be your little secret. Come on. It's not that hard, is it, IBROSS?
No, it's not.
It's not that hard. The problem, we create our own problems most of the time in life. I create mine, you create yours. That's what we do. So why do we do it? I don't know. We don't know any better. But at least you're learning a number of ways to avoid this particular problem. Are you doing your mind training every day?
Yes, I am.
Great. And how much are you reading aloud?
I'm reading aloud over 1 hour per day.
Great.
And I really like reading.
Well, tremendously. You're getting accustomed to expecting quality, fluent speech from your lips. Every time you do it, you're proving to yourself that you can do it. And sooner than later, you're just going to accept the fact that you can do it. And then you're going to wonder why you ever had a problem. And neither one of us will probably ever know. But we don't really care because you're going to get better and better and better and better and better until you love to speak like I do. I truly love to speak. I drink my own Kool-Aid. And you can too. I want you to love to speak. Settle for nothing less. Nothing less. You go from stuttering to fluency to love to speak down there. One jump, like that. And they say stuttering can't be cured. I don't know how to define cured, but I know one thing, you and I are not going to stutter. I know that. I'm loving your progress, man. Now, let's keep talking about this choppy speech because we're not going to do it. From the time you hang up this Skype or from right now, we're not doing that anymore. You gotta hesitate, pick a word and fear it, even to chop. The minute you start thinking words and doing this, shut your mouth and start again with one of your plans. You got short, slow, that's great. You got big, say it like you mean it, and that works great. You got whispering. Throw it in. Try a little whispering. What did you say? I didn't. Can you hear me when I'm whispering? I think you can. Can you hear me when I'm whispering?
Yes.
I can hear you. It's not a problem, is it, when we whisper? I don't mind whispering. Do you mind whispering?
No.
Does my whispering offend you?
No.
Your whispering doesn't offend me. I don't care. You know how I discovered whispering? I went to sporting events, football, and cheered for my team until I was hoarse. So hoarse that I couldn't talk for 3 days. When I whispered I didn't have a stuttering problem. How about that? So I said, hey, that's not a bad way out. So they started calling me the Whisperer. I didn't care. They didn't care. As long as they could understand me, they didn't care. So I had a soft voice, so started crying. You're ready. But that's the third thing you can do. You can whisper. You're not going to chop. That's what you're not going to do.
Mhm.
Could use other systems. Avoid the chopping. Thank you very much. You're going to prove to yourself that you can avoid the chop. You have no reason to chop. So, uh, I love this. You now have three ways. Say it like you mean it, man. Whisper, no problem. Or think short and slow. So slow and so short. Don't forget your stops. That makes it short. You gotta stop. And you speak slow. Now, which way is the easiest way for you?
For me, I find it very easy speaking with passion and combining that with speaking slowly. I really love that.
Okay. Okay. Hold on.
It works well for me.
Play. You're creating your own methods by combining things. And they're working for you, and that's all that matters. You feel very relaxed talking to me, don't you?
I feel very relaxed now.
So
Very relaxed.
so easy. And there's nobody can spot a stutter faster than I can. Nobody. I know every trick. Nobody can fool me. But if I didn't know you and we met down the street here at a pub and you talk like you do now here today, I wouldn't know you stutter. But I have no idea. Wouldn't occur to me to ask you. Isn't that strange? It's like you wear, the old IBROSS had this stuttering problem. It's like a bad garment or mask or something. Now he takes it off and puts it over there. He doesn't have the problem anymore. It just goes away.
I I was at a practice session a couple of days ago, and I I had to speak for 3 to 4 minutes. And at first, it was choppy. And the host said to me, "You're speaking too fast. Speak more slower." I tried again for 2 minutes and I spoke very well.
Perfect. That's great. I believe you. Look, the most important thing for you right now is to stay on duty 24 hours a day. If you're in the shower, you're on duty. If you're talking to your um, spouse, if you're talking to your parents, if you're talking to a neighbor, if you're talking to a workmate, if you're in a practice session, you're on duty 24 hours a day. Why? Because you're trying to create a new habit. And you gotta keep doing it until it becomes more natural than the old habit. Then you're going to have to laugh at the old habit because it's not going to be your problem anymore. Do any of your affirmations say that you love to speak? Do any of them say that?
Yes.
Good. Because you do. You need to keep drilling that in. The more you say it, the sooner it'll be your reality.
Mhm.
You do love to speak, really, don't you?
I love it.
Exactly. And the more you love it, the better you will become at it. And frankly, speaking slowly and long stops are two of the most important elements of speaking well, speaking better than most people speak. Pronunciation helps too. And saying things like you mean it, passion, that helps too because you're more convincing, you're more interesting. You have natural movements. You're not looking up at the ceiling for help. You just have natural movements because you're having a good time and you're sharing a little few thoughts that you got.
Mm.
Hopefully, you're asking questions, you're learning things from the other person, finding things you can like in the other person. So much fun. And you're using that killer smile of yours. It's all work, it's all coming together, isn't it?
Yes.
It is coming together. Yeah. The day comes when speaking actually does the reverse. It relaxes you. You have all these ways you can do it, all these different garments and head treatments you can use. Being different people having fun through your speech. Passion and slow, short and slow, whisper, saying it like you mean it, smiling. You know, crutch 11, speaking like a king. You're close to being, doing that. What does it say? It says, speak slowly, use extreme pronunciation. Say it like you mean it. Smile. All things you like to do. And stop. 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 If you lose the floor, speech floor, you don't care. You'll get it back. And you'll use it better than the other guy in most cases. It's not a competition. You're competing with yourself. That's the only person you compete with. When you master yourself, you become the best you can be. And you will succeed at your reasonable goals. 90+% of them, nobody can stop. But you.
Mhm.
Is IBROSS mastering IBROSS? That's why stuttering's a blessing, because it's forcing you to master yourself, to take control of yourself, to take control of your thinking, not just about speech, but about everything else. You get negative thoughts all day long, we all do. You fight them, you don't accept them, you resist them, you replace them with positive information. There are a lot of things in life that we can't change, that we don't like. And that's okay. We accept them and we learn to, there's usually, there's a saying, every knife cuts both ways. And so when it's damaging in this direction and it's helpful in that direction, you know, you're not stabbing someone, you're carving a turkey. You know, it's a good thing to carve a turkey. So everything has cuts both ways. So you learn to accept with the problems and avoid them and benefit from the good side of whatever it is. And this is what we're doing, is benefiting, we're profiting from the problem. We're converting the lemons into lemonade, and we're selling them for a profit. Everybody wins. That's what we're doing. And look at you, every week easier. Now this week, we're gonna fight those chops. We're not gonna put up with them. We're gonna stop talking and use one of our 4 methods that you told me about. And you're gonna sail all week, like a bird, like a speech bird. It's getting easier by the day and more fun. You're proving that you can do it and have fun doing it. So much fun. And I like it. You're coming to Sam. You're saying a few things at Sam. That's really great. A lot of people are watching you because, like Fatimata, they heard you stutter a couple of times. So they're listening. And you're encouraging. You're an exemplar. You're a model for them. They love that. They're rooting for you. They want to do what you're doing. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
You're helping other people just by doing what you want to do. Speaking better every day. Every day. Well, what else do you want to talk about, IBROSS?
I just wanted to say that my improvements over the past couple of months, I never ever thought in my life it would have this much of an improvement. Never in my life did I think that. And I feel very, very happy. And I genuinely mean happiness every time I speak to friends, I speak to family. Every time I speak to you, I feel happy. And it helps me with my speech.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And it's just the beginning. You've got a lifetime of joy speaking. To your friends, your workmates, your family, your children someday, whatever. If you have children, you want to read aloud to them as soon as they'll listen. And teach them to read by reading to and with them. And you'll make a great bond with them doing it. And you'll help them become wonderful speakers and students, good students. Because they'll enjoy words. I love words. You say, well, that was the problem originally, but I've converted again. That's into a blessing too. I love words. That's why I wrote the words book. You know, I've got 5,000 entries in there. I love words. They're not a problem. They're part of the solution. But it's all in how you think about them. They're not enemies. There's no, the more syllables they have, metaphysics, Mephistopheles, the more syllables they have, I don't care. They're just, each syllable's like a word, there's no problem. Slow it down, pronounce it, it doesn't matter. And all words, all names, all consonants, all vowels, I love them all. Italian's my favorite language. I know a little bit of it. I like French a lot. I used to be able to speak a bit of French, and Spanish is nice. Do you speak Arabic?
I speak Arabic, yes.
Wow, that's such a. Say something to me in Arabic.
أنا إبراهيم أنت لي أنا فرحان اليوم. So that means I am Ibrahim, you're Lee, and today I am happy.
Great, great, great. That's great. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say that my motivation on improving my speech was, as you said, I don't have children yet. However, I want children soon, and a lot of them. And I want, and I want.
Careful, you gotta raise them, but it ain't easy.
And I thought to myself, I want to be able to read to my children.
Of course.
I want to be able to give them advice and have zero blocks.
Exactly.
And I owe it to them, even if I don't have children yet. I owe it to my future children to sort out my speech now.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. You do owe it to them, and you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to everybody with whom you deal, everybody around you. It impacts everybody's life. You don't want to be a problem. You can't talk. We don't want that kind of nonsense. You're not going to do that. The minute you feel labored with your speech, you should stop talking, take a 2 count, and take one of your 4 methods and go into it. Dive into it. It's like it's a pool. Dive into the pool completely. Don't hold back anything. You become that particular system that you're using, speech plan. You got 4 of them. And you might want to play around. I mean, it's nice to have 4, change from one to another, or it depends on what kind of pressure you're feeling, but you want to know they all work if you do them. If you do them. And I don't want you to have so many plans that you panic and you can't think of one, Maybe you need under pressure, you need to decide in advance which ones which is number 1 and number 2 and so forth. Maybe you need to do that. I don't know. What do you think?
I think if I'm in a high pressure situation, exactly like yesterday, I'll be using extreme pronunciation, speaking slowly, and speaking in short increments. These 3 combined will help me.
Okay.
And even today, in a few hours, I'll be meeting my friends, and it will be a high stress situations. I'm going to drill this down tonight. Speaking slowly, short increments, extreme pronunciation.
And as you succeed, celebrate it, mentally. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it.
I will.
Okay. All right. But the main thing is no time off. The more you do, the more you're dedicated to your methods, the sooner the methods become habitual, natural. And all you have to do is, like I do, think, I love to speak. You know? Why should I be afraid of speaking? Well, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I know I'm not going to wipe out. I'm not going to wipe out. I'm going to be really good, frankly.
Yes.
And that's what you want to be thinking. Because most of the time with me, you are really good already. Hard to believe, but it's true. But no time off duty. No time.
Yes.
We can't let you step in a hole and, crack your shin or something. I don't want to do that. And the more you don't do it, the sooner the risk isn't there. All these problems vaporize. You know why? Because there's nothing there. That's the joke. There's nothing there. It's all here. What a gift to understand that at your tender age. It's all here. It's not out there. Take care of this, everything's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens out there, World War III, whatever it is, you can deal with it. Okay. In your abundant spare time, ha 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 ha. In your abundant spare time, do you want to translate the short course book into Arabic?
My Arabic isn't as fluent.
Okay. I get it.
However, my wife speaks fluent Arabic, and
Okay.
she's teaching me more.
Okay. Maybe you can get her to do it. No, you want to pull back, you want to help.
Yes.
That's something you could do that would help a lot of people.
Yes.
But the world is 20-some% Arabs.
Yep.
So think of that. 1.5 billion people. And 1% of them stutter.
Yes.
That's 15 million people. Be nice to give them a hand, don't you think?
Of course.
Yeah. And we put your name right up front. It'd be translated by your name right here. And there'd be a thing in the front telling your story, your stuttering story, and a link to a video by you. And all those people who speak Arabic would be in your debt. Okay. On that happy note, so I'll see you. When will I see you again? When do we get together?
In 2 weeks.
Okay, hold on. Let me just make sure that I got that down. Okay. Yeah, my Outlook is working. How about that? Wonders. Okay, well, listen, I'll see you at Sam. Keep up the great work.
Yep.
And it's all kind of in many respects, you know, here's the hill. And when I met you, you were down here somewhere. And now you're up here and you're on this side.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to go down all the way till the surface is flat and you're sailing like in your own boat, you know, a high power off through all the problems of life.
I'm going to stick it on the pedal and keep on riding all the way through.
I didn't understand what you said.
I'm going to stick it on the pedal and ride all the way through.
Keep your foot on the pedal. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll see you at Sam then.
Okay, coach.
Don't get lost.
No. Okay, take care. Thank you.
All right.